Hello, Community Services, Public Safety, Housing and Development Committee. My name is Scott Kolwitz. I'm the Planning and Environmental Services Manager, and I'm joined by,
This is Kathleen Mallory, Planning and Sustainability Manager.
and collectively we're here to provide an overview of two proposed agreements with Rincon Consultants and CSG Consultants for on-call planning and permit processing services agreements. The city's current on-call planning and permit processing services contract with Rincon Consultants will expire on September 30th, 2021. The contract covered both preparation of environmental documents and augmenting planning staff by processing planning permits. The city issued a request for proposals in February of 2021 for on-call permit processing and planning services. Two firms responded, and both were selected. Rincon Consultants was selected based on their extensive work with the city, as well as their breadth and diversity in available staff. CSG was selected based on their proven ability to provide comprehensive planning services based on an extensive work with a range of jurisdictions that addressed Oxnard's diverse characteristics. Contract planning staff through on-call agreements are primarily used in the following capacities. First, they augment planning staff for processing of development projects and long range of policy-related work tasks. In addition, on-call planning staff assist with interdepartmental projects and/or development project management. The use of contract planners through on-call agreements allows the Community Development Department the flexibility and most cost-efficient way to respond quickly to these various types of work that are cyclical, rather than have full-time staff, which can save the city money, especially when developers are fully funding the cost of contract planners. Over the past few years, contract planners have been used to process complex development projects, such as the ones listed on the slide. They've also been used for projects with aggressive processing timelines associated with approved development agreements, or projects where the applicant is seeking expedited permit processing. These applications and the on-call services provided to them are funded through developer deposit planning permits. This means that the cost of contract planners are paid for by the applicant. As staff looks to the future, we recognize specific development projects are market-driven, and the city does not control the timing of applications. However, staff is positioning the city to have access to a robust contract staff option in anticipation that large and/or controversial development projects will be submitted to the city for processing over the life of the proposed contracts with Rincon and CSG. In addition to the specific project entitlements, contract planners have also been utilized to apply for, implement, monitor grant activities and tasks, and to work on associated environmental documents for various city departments. Kathleen Mallory will now take over the presentation to talk about those aspects.
Thank you. Next slide, please. The city's identified various projects which might be processed as city department projects. These projects may be best served by utilizing contract planners. Examples of these projects include work to support the Public Works Department, housing department projects, including development projects to facilitate housing construction, renovation, or environmental dock preparation, and then also work which may occur for multiple city departments to assist with investor-owned utility renovation or finance programs, such as programs offered by Southern California Edison or the Clean Power Alliance or energy efficiency companies. Next slide, please. Planning staff is currently involved in managing a number of complex long-range planning projects, such as the city's 6th Housing Element Update, the Local Coastal Plan Update, the Ormond Beach Restoration Access Plan, Oxnard City Code, Zoning Code Cleanup, as well as planning efforts associated with the housing and sustainability-related grant projects that Mr. Kolwitz just mentioned. Documents and research related to the new state mandates include vehicle miles traveled, and that's also something that staff is involved in managing long-term work associated with. Additionally, updates to the city's environmental thresholds and guidelines to implement the new vehicle miles traveled requirements. In the next few years, as a result of federal and state approaches and mandates to address climate change, sustainability, housing mandates, and other legislative changes, staff anticipates utilizing contract planners to assist in writing, applying for, and managing these projects and grant activities. The contract planners assigned to the city by RENCON have worked on the various longer range planning projects and grants and are uniquely qualified to continue assisting the city on these work tasks. Next slide, please. The cost of the agreement with RENCON and CSG for on-call services is for a maximum total of $1 million. The agreement will be funded by various funding sources, including the general fund, developer deposits received, and additional deposits to continue advancing those projects, grant funds, including SB2 and LEAP grants, general plan maintenance fee funds, and funding from other city departments for specific projects, including funding from the housing department or the public works department. Planning collects permit revenues to help offset the contract expenses and the impacts to the general fund from development projects. Approval of this contract is contingent upon City Council approval of the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget, which will be considered by the City Council on June 15th and then also on June 29th. Next slide, please. Staff's recommendation is that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing, and Development Committee recommend that the City Council approve an agreement with RENCON Consultants in the amount of $750,000 and also an agreement with CSG Consultants in the amount of $250,000 for on-call planning and permit processing services for a period of 3 years with up to 2 one-year extensions. This concludes our presentation, and either Scott or I are available to answer any questions.